course where we're going to go over some work accommodations, serving minority groups, addressing language barriers, cultural competencies, and then a quick commitment to action. So I'm going to pass it on over to Alexis to get us started.
Thank you so much. So, hello everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm excited for us to spend some time talking about something that sits at the heart of our mission, breaking barriers. At the American Red Cross, everything we do is rooted in making sure our services are inclusive, fair, and trusted, no matter the community, no matter the circumstance. Today, our purpose is to look honestly at the barriers that show up in our work and learn how to overcome them together so that our service delivery is truly equitable. We'll be focusing on a few core areas that really impact the volunteer and client experience, which would be the work accommodations for volunteers, serving minority groups effectively, and addressing language barriers. I'll start us off by walking through volunteer accommodations, and serving minority groups, setting the tone for today's conversation. Then our friend Caitlin will take us deeper into addressing language barriers and understanding cultural and language considerations. By the end, it is our hope to walk away with some practical, meaningful strategies we can start using right away. Okay, work accommodations. Let's support our volunteers. To begin with, one of the biggest ways we can remove barriers is supporting our volunteers through effective work accommodations. The first work accommodation that the American Red Cross offers is flexible scheduling. We know many of our volunteers are balancing being caregivers, school, full-time jobs, and we need to be available and ready to make adjustments to shifts and allow flexibility. We make volunteering accessible instead of adding more stress. And this is an easy, high impact accommodation that helps volunteers stay engaged when we meet them where they are. The next accommodation is remote and hybrid opportunities. Not everyone's role requires them to be in person. Tasks like casework, data entry, or outreach can often be done from home. So offering virtual options opens the door for more people to serve who may have transportation challenges, mobility limitations, or simply prefer a digital service. Our next accommodation our next accommodation is transportation support. We want to make sure volunteers have what they need when they are commuting, including accessing the new vehicle calendar process and any supplies that they need when using the Red Cross vehicles, ranging from cleaning supplies, stuff to do casework, all the goodies that we need. Our P card to fuel the cars, an accessible pen so that they could refuel the vehicles. So just making sure we have clear and open communication about what it is to use the Red Cross vehicle and giving them all the support that they need to use said vehicle. We also want to think about technology and accessibility tools. This includes things like screen readers, large print materials, ergonomic equipment, or helping volunteers navigate the Red Cross apps, Volunteer Connection, or OneSource. Small adjustments create huge levels of inclusion for all our volunteers and their many needs. And another important piece is training customization. Not everyone needs to have a one size fits all training or onboarding experience. We can tailor responsibilities based on we can tailor our onboarding process based on what the volunteer needs and what their skill set is already. And then lastly, we want to make accommodations for religious and cultural observance. Excuse me. This means being mindful of holidays, prayer times, fasting periods, and cultural practices, getting to know our volunteers and adjusting their schedules to make sure that someone's belief is respected and encouraged. Overall, accommodations are not just adjustments, they are relationship builders. It really takes us to get to know our volunteers and what their need is to volunteer in order for us to make sure that we're accommodating them in the best manner. Right. All right, let's do our first knowledge check. Which of the following is an example of a work accommodation for the Red Cross? Is it A, assigning all volunteers the same role for consistency, B, providing assistive technology or ergon- ergonomic, excuse me, I cannot speak today, tools, or limiting flexibility to maintain strict schedules, or D, avoiding cultural or religious considerations? You could drop your answers in the chat. Yes, B. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Tuesday. Thank you, Caitlin. Yes, the correct answer is B, providing assistive technology and ergonomic tools. Our second question, why is offering flexible scheduling important for volunteers? Is it A, it reduces the need for training, B, it eliminates the need for transportation support, C, it ensures volunteers work longer shifts, or D, it helps volunteers balance caregiving, school, or work responsibilities? Yes, you guys are quick today. The correct answer is D. Thank you, Nicole. Tuesday. Hey, Susan, Lisa. All right. So let's talk about one of the most important ways we break barriers, how we serve minority groups with trust and inclusion. One of the strongest tools we have is partnering with community leaders. Trusted voices within a community helps us bridge gaps, increase credibility, and make people more willing to engage with us. Some examples of this is collaborating with faith-based organizations for outreach, or working with local cultural associations during disaster preparedness activities. The best practice here is simple but powerful. Include the community leaders in our planning and feedback sessions. Don't just invite them to the table, give them a voice and help them and allow them to help us shape the work that we're going to do for that community. Next, we want to focus on culturally relevant support. Different communities have different needs, and when we take time to learn those differences, our services become more respectful and effective. For example, the African American communities, understanding health disparities like sickle cell disease is critical when we're running blood drives. For the Hispanic and Latino community, we want to be mindful of cultural dietary norms, especially during sheltering. For the AAPI communities, offering private spaces for prayer or meditation can make a huge difference in comfort and dignity. And for our Native American communities, it is important that we understand and honor tribal traditions and ceremonies during our service delivery. The best practices tied to this is to train volunteers on cultural norms and sensitivities so our teams are equipped and empowered and confident in their service delivery. And lastly, transparency across all minority groups, being clear and upfront builds trust. That means communicating resources and their limits and timelines in multiple languages and sharing how decisions are made. When people understand the why behind our action, trust grows. Another great practice is to provide regular updates and collect feedback through channels that feel culturally familiar, whether that's community meetings, attending community meetings and just getting feedback, whether it's joining a WhatsApp group during the DRO briefings, or even local radios. Just making sure we are getting feedback on how our service delivery has made that community feel is important and allows the community to feel heard. Overall, serving minority groups well means we're listening, learning, collaborating, and communicating openly. That's how we build trust and long term relationships. So, now that we've talked through accommodations, we're going to do accommodations and serving minority groups. We're going to do another knowledge check. All right. So, first question, which of the following is an example of partnering with community leaders to serve minority groups effectively? Is it A, posting general disaster alerts on social media only? B, collaborating with Hispanic cultural associations for outreach? Is it C, limiting engagement to English speaking volunteers? Or is it D, avoiding involvement from faith-based organizations? Thank you, Lisa. B. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Tuesday. Jesus, thank you. Everyone is saying B, and the correct answer is collaborating with a Hispanic cultural association for outreach. That is the best way. When we partner with the community and the leaders, they know their community and they will advocate for their community and their needs. All right, second question. What is a best practice for providing culturally relevant support to minority groups during disaster relief? Is it A, offering the same meal option to all communities? B, using English only language materials for simplicity? C, avoiding private spaces for prayer to maintain uniformity? Or is it D, providing meals that meet dietary restrictions such as halal or vegetarian? Nicole, you're too quick. Yes, D. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. The correct answer is D, providing meals that meet dietary restrictions, such as halal or vegetarian. Understanding and researching that community to know what their needs is the best way to support our minority groups. So thank you all so much and for participating in our knowledge check. Gonna pass it over to our good friend, Caitlin, to address language barriers.
Thank you. All right. So, addressing language barriers ensures that everyone can access critical information and services. So, when someone can't fully understand or communicate their needs, it can delay access to services, increase stress during an already traumatic situation, and even lead to errors or miscommunication. Over time, this can impact trust, and that's super essential to the work that we do. Um, it ensures that everyone can access the critical information and services regardless of the language they speak. This isn't just about translation, it's about safety, dignity, and equitable support for all communities that we serve. Language barriers can delay or prevent access to services, increase confusion or stress during this time, lead to errors or communication, and erode trust, as I said. So, whether it's using trained interpreters, providing translated materials, or slowing down and using plain language, these actions can help ensure people are seen, heard, and supported when they need us the most. We're going to do another quick knowledge check. So you can put those answers in the chat. But which action best supports individuals with limited English proficiency? So sorry. I was opening the Teams app on my phone so I could see the chat and I didn't read them. So A, asking family members to interpret sensitive information. B, providing information only in English for consistency. C, using trained interpreters or translated materials when available. Or D, avoiding detailed explanations to prevent confusion.
The
Good
chat is saying
job.
C.
Yes, good job. The correct answer is C. So using that the trained interpreters or translated materials when available is super helpful to support all individuals. Cultural competencies. So, cultural competency ensures services are respectful, relevant, and supportive to the diverse communities that we serve. By understanding and honoring cultural differences, we build trust, reduce misunderstandings, and deliver more effective support. We talked a lot about this in the last session. So I'll do a quick plug. If you didn't watch session 2, definitely go back on Volunteer Connection and watch that since we talked about it a lot. But cultural competency isn't about knowing everything. It's just about being willing to listen and asking those thoughtful questions and being open to learning. When we approach our work with a curious mind instead of just jumping into action, we build stronger relationships and trust with the communities we serve. What they mean in practice and key areas is just awareness of one's own biases. So, what you think you're walking into isn't always going to be the case because of different cultures and different communities. Just having the respect for differing beliefs, traditions, and communication styles, religious and cultural observations, and trauma-informed and culturally sensitive communication is super important. that moves us into what we can do moving forward as a commitment to action as the journey continues for all of us. So, committing to breaking barriers turns awareness into meaningful change throughout the region and through intentional ongoing efforts from all of us by taking responsibility within ourselves, within our role here at the Red Cross and outside of the Red Cross. We ensure inclusion, equity, and trust remain central to how we are able to serve the communities and serve our mission. With that being said, put it in the chat or just take a minute to reflect. But what is one way you can help break a barrier, whether that's from translating things with language or just asking questions, like cultural questions or otherwise? What can you do to break a barrier in your role? Either put it in the chat or just take a second to reflect on that question. Because every small action that we each take turns into a big movement. Whether that's just providing a different language flyer at an event that provides that commitment to action that we're trying to make. But yeah, I see that Nicole is typing something in the chat. Or you can even come off of mute if you want to share. We have a smaller group today. I know one way that I've been working on to break the barrier is hosting trainings like this with Alexis. So it's been really fun to share these resources with you all. Nicole, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna type it, but I think one of the ways we can work to break a barrier is to check our personal assumptions at the
Yeah,
door.
absolutely.
Specifically, like about a given culture or how a disaster response should look. It's going to take shape given whoever's in that context.
1000%. Thank you for sharing. That's such a great way to put it. There's a really cool video. I'm not sure if any of you have seen it, but it was from Hawaii, the Red Cross there. They put it out on their some of the assumptions that they face as a community and their culture when people go in to respond to disasters there. And it was just their region kind of giving helpful tips and really cool community cultural information on how their people would feel more supported and respected when we are supporting disaster relief operations. So that's a super cool video. If you haven't seen it and you're interested, let me know. I can find the link and send it to you. Well, that's all we have for you all today.
In the
Yes.
chat, Tuesday said attend implicit bias training or culturally competent training. So I love that. Thank
Yes.
you, Tuesday.
Yes. Thanks, Alexis. I didn't see the chat for a little bit. But yeah, Nicole, I will send that link. We can send it out in an email or send it to you on the side or whatever. But thank you all so much for attending. If you don't have any questions or comments, I hope you have a wonderful, safe, and somewhat warm weekend. And hope to see you all on our last session, February 20th.
Thank you all.
Thanks, you guys. Good job.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Jesus.
Sorry, I'm driving, so I cannot type too much.
Oh,
No,
don't worry
drive
about
safe.
it.
Okay,
Don't
have a
worry
good day.
about it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.